Hopefully you guys can hear us okay as far as this goes. So we're going to give people a minute to hop on. I know we're on Facebook too, so let me pull that up and we will go from there. Tonight's episode, we're going to be covering a lot of questions we've been getting about Texas.
Yeah.
Why we're moving to Texas, how we're getting down there, what we're doing when we're down there.
I'm so excited.
All that fun stuff. So if you guys are hopping on live right now, do me a huge favor, drop a comment. Let me know if you are able to hear us okay with the microphone set up. And I'll get the Amazon group up here and go from there. Yeah. So you want to open up with what's going on with Texas?
We're moving.
We're moving.
I feel like we've been talking about this move forever.
Yeah. I mean, it started, what, 2 years ago?
Yeah. But we're finally doing it. Obviously, when there's a business that's totally intact and like running super well here, it makes it easier to move, but it wasn't always like that. It was a lot of me and Charles doing pretty much not all the work, but a lot of the work.
Good chunk of it.
So we have a really good team in place now, and everyone's just ready to rock without us, essentially. I think we've been pretty much stepped out of the day-to-day prep work for the last 3 months. And everyone's like pretty much like they don't need us.
They're good to go.
We're like fixtures here at this point. Like we don't need.
We're kind of just in the way when we show up.
Like, essentially, people are like, just go. We got this.
What's up, Eric? Welcome in. Can you do me a favor? Can you guys hear us okay? Just need a comment, yes or no.
Nobody can hear us.
Figuring out the microphone setup.
He must be able to hear us because
probably good.
He said congrats. Yes, it is. Thank congrats. You. We're very excited to move. There's a lot of moving pieces to just moving your personal life, but then making sure that everything runs here without us. So we made the decision maybe 6 months ago or longer to leave the Oregon Prep Center intact. Just because there's like a bug in here. Oh my gosh.
What?
It's a really big bug. Sorry, that's going to distract me.
Let me go shoo that out the door.
It's a really big bug. I don't know if I should move to Texas if I'm worried about that big bug.
Oh, it's a bee.
Oh.
That's a fat bee. Wow.
He's gone now.
All right, we're good.
So we made the decision to leave the Oregon Center intact, and we're really excited for that. And then we're going to open up our second center outside of San Antonio. And yeah.
That's basically
it. Sounds so neat and pretty and like in a perfect box. I've been painting.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of logistics. And for those of you, I'm curious too, has anyone in the chat moved several states away? This is kind of the first time we've ever done something like this. We both grew up in Oregon.
Yeah.
We're both just sick and tired of the rain. I, of all people, get seasonal depression pretty bad. I can tolerate like 2 months of rain. Man, by the time we get into that third month though, I'm like, my energy is shot. Doesn't matter. All the external aspects can be perfectly in line, and I'm still just struggling with motivation and energy.
Normally we just travel and we take lots of trips during the spring when it's super rainy here. Like we'll go, a week with just total rain, like no breaks.
This is actually the first sun break we've had.
Yeah, it's so nice today.
We hit 50 degrees today, guys.
Yeah, it was really nice.
We've been chilling at like 35 to 40 and rain for like 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of living in the north, northeast, northwest, both are pretty much the same. Mm-hmm. So we're excited to get out of Oregon for many reasons. And the weather is a big portion of that. We just can't wait to get down, enjoy some sunshine. Trista's whole side of the family has already migrated down. So we're kind of the stragglers left here in Oregon. So we've just been waiting to get the logistics of the business in place to where we don't need to be here physically prepping, physically checking on people's inventory, all the back end to running a prep center. So now that is completely outsourced and offloaded onto our team, they're more than capable to handle that moving forward. And we're in a position right now where we're comfortable just up and leaving.
Yeah.
The only thing tying us down here now is we need to get our house boxed up, get the U-Haul situated. We will be taking a road trip down. Looked into quotes for shipping things down. We were looking at like $8 to $10 grand by the end of the day.
Easily, yeah.
Ridiculous. So for less than half the cost, we can just drive everything down ourselves. And because we'll have a U-Haul and grandma's going to fly up, grab the kids, fly them back down, we're not in a big rush to get down there right away. So
we're having like a super extreme road trip, thrifters edition.
We're going to be thrifting on our way down. We'll do a whole YouTube. I don't know if it'll just be one big video or probably like a 3 to 5 part video series. Thrifting on our way down to Texas. The further south you get, the cheaper things get. So I'm super excited about that. Right. We can't touch a pair of shoes in Goodwill for less than like $25 right now. It's just ridiculous.
Maybe that's high. 15 to 25.
For good Nikes.
Yeah.
I've been paying good Nikes, 25 to 30.
25. Yeah.
So we're excited for the thrifting on the road trip on the way down. We're excited to get down there. As far as plans for once we get down there, it's kind of up in the air right now. We still haven't sat down. I was thinking about this earlier. We still haven't sat down and done our 2022 goals.
I know.
Date night that we usually do every year.
We always do this. It's like a 3-hour coffee shop, like just everything we want out of the year. And we've been leading up to this trip for so long and this move for so long. Like we kind of pretty much know what we want, sort of. But like also this is a really cool experience of blank slate. And like we get to kind of just see what happens, and it's very exciting. So it's hard. Like, we were going to sit down and do our 2022 goals. And traditionally when we've sat down in the past, it's okay, Amazon, eBay, how much revenue do we want to produce out of there? YouTube, affiliates, like we break down our revenue streams. Like there's so many unknowns with Texas. It's hard to really put numbers on things that don't even exist yet. We don't even have a blueprint. Well, we have a blueprint that we can copy in our prep center setup down there, but we'll still be hammering eBay, Amazon. Kind of excited for eBay, not just for the thrifting that's down there, but we're starting with 0 inventory. So we were talking about doing a video series of starting with 0 in our inventory down in Texas and building that up. Yeah, that'll be exciting, and it'll be weird. So the inventory that we have in our store right now will stay active, and we're not moving any of that. We are super lucky and fortunate to have our office manager here, and she actually did eBay clothing for me for like 3 years before she became the office manager for the prep center. So so she's really strong at eBay, and she's going to just continue shipping all the stuff that's already listed. So we're not going to have to move that. And I know I've watched other resellers move, and y'all move all your inventory. God bless you. I had already like pretty much solidified in my mind that if Jamie wasn't willing to do the eBay portion of shipping, which it's not really that hard, but that I was just gonna, we were just gonna liquidate. Like I had no motivation to pack all of this up and drag it across the country along with all of our personal stuff. So, we're super lucky that we get to pretty much just leave it here. And then Charles said, like start afresh in Texas. So
it's nice. Cause we've been in the resale game for just over 6 years now. So it feels really good to be able to take all the knowledge that we have built over those 6 years, start from literally 0. We'll still have sales from the Oregon location coming through with eBay and stuff like that. But it just feels good to be able to start with a completely clean slate, and we get to utilize our knowledge to really just cherry pick the types of items that we're thrifting. We still have items in our eBay store that have been lingering for like 3 years because they were just bad buys. So that's kind of stuff that we're in the process of just liquidating, getting rid of. We have like two full pallets worth of liquidation stuff that's just getting donated. Our staff gets first dibs. They love when we go through our eBay stuff because to them it's great types of stuff for personal use. We just can't make much as far as resale goes. So we're excited to just start ground floor, build things up, and we'll document the whole thing too in video, different types of video series.
One thing I was gonna say also, this is super. So normally, in a normal year, we would be excited about setting all these big financial goals about how much we're gonna make and what we're gonna sell on each platform. And this year, it's like, how do we scale back so that we can then move forward? And that's a really weird feeling because everyone if you've been reselling for longer than 2 weeks, you're like, how do I do more? How do I do more? How do I do more? Yeah. And we're in this weird space of like Charles said, we have, we're going to get to start eBay fresh, but we've really pulled back our buying the last 6 months with the move in our minds, knowing that like we don't have unlimited space and we're not going to bog Jamie down with more shipping than we already have. So we've really scaled back our eBay here in Oregon because I mean, I haven't been to the bins since
like 3 years,
like forever. No,
probably
it wasn't.
two, at least
it
two
was
since COVID
right
kicked
after
in.
COVID. Like they shut all of our bins down, and I just haven't been back. With in mind, knowing that I have this big move coming, and so I've been scaling back. So I'm really excited to go into a thrift store and just buy what I want to buy, and because I know I can sell it. Whereas now I'll go and find something that I'm like, oh well, I can make $20 on this, but is it worth taking up space in my warehouse and when I don't have unlimited space? So lots of things, but I'm really excited to move, and
we're antsy at this point because we're probably roughly about 6 weeks out from hitting the road. I would love to just pack the U-Haul and like we're on the road hitting I-5 south on March 1st would be the goal.
There's a lot of people in the chat, so
there is a lot of people in the chat.
Lots of people.
So that's kind of like tentatively where we're at with plans and all that. We do plan obviously to get a warehouse down there.
Yep.
We thought about flying down there like pretty much now.
It would have been next week.
It would have been next week. We've thought about flying down there, getting some just like 2,000 square foot bay and signing a lease right away. We do have Trista's mom and sister is actually down there, and they worked here at the prep center, so they know how to run the prep operation. So we could have started having clients ship down there already without us, and those two would handle it. We just thought, let's just wait till we get down there, then go sign a lease. That way we're physically there. We can set up the shelving and all that stuff that we need.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the plan right now. So that we might have a place the first week, 2 weeks. I don't think we'd wait a month. We'd go stir crazy. We're not the type that sits around well.
Michael's in San Antonio. You'll have to.
There we go. What part of San Antonio, Michael? We're looking around. Ultimately, like we won't have a home right away, so we're gonna live with Trista's mom for a bit. Just kind of go browse the different neighborhoods, see where we ultimately want to land. So we're looking around the Converse area. If you guys are familiar with San Antonio, so just outside that border. San Antonio is massive. Like you look at a map of different cities, and then you actually go drive those cities and realize how
we also live in a town of like 35,000 people. So basically anything is massive to us. We're like small town kids.
All right. So if you guys have questions about the Texas move, drop those in the chat. And then I do have the back half.
Or just questions
in general. Then the back half of this, I have tons of questions I've been getting on Instagram. I'm going to pull those out and answer all those here. So we'll go through the chat. What's up, Gregory? Are you moving because of better taxes or opportunities in general? All of it. Tax setup. They don't have income tax. They do have sales tax. So you kind of have to weigh that out. Ultimately, I think we're going to be better off as far as the tax situation goes. And just opportunities in general down there. The benefit with Oregon is we have no sales tax. So that's why all of our clients are online arbitrage based. And down there, there's it's like high 7s or 8% sales tax. So it's pretty high. So we have to figure out how to offset that price for our OA people that want to go down there. But we're going to try to focus that business model strictly on fulfillment, private label, wholesale, etc. Pat D is in the
other
house.
Big thing is my family's down there, so
obviously
they're very helpful with the kids.
That's the big one. What's up, Pat? Good evening, guys. Where the heck is that Walmart clearance? That one I posted is here in our local town, McMinnville. And I literally just went in there to grab drinks for the office. We keep the office fully stocked. And I'm like, I'm just going to go down the toy aisle. And I didn't realize there's some crazy markdowns going on right now.
There is, just generally in all the Walmarts. But I feel like ours is really slashing it down.
All right. Oh, geez. I had a skunk in my garage 3 months ago. Scared the stink out of me. I walked by him, snuck up on me. I can't not imagine how long did that smell last. That's
no I would bueno. Just probably move at that point.
Just shut it down. Just as Facebook user, so I'm not sure who commented on this one. I haven't pulled it. Oh, here we go. Nope, just kidding. There we go. Oh, Jeff, what's up, man? Jeff and his wife are awesome people. Congrats, you guys. Great job on building a system that will continue to run without you every day. I mean, that literally is the goal of, I think, any entrepreneur, is to build your business to the point where you don't have to physically take care of the day-to-day. Yeah. We still take care of the big picture stuff. We still do like the invoicing, general client management, that kind of stuff. Ultimately, that's the goal right there, is to build a business for yourself and then try to build a system around it that can be run by, whether it's virtual assistants, staff, software sometimes.
But then also I would add, like, you're never really truly withdrawn. Like, we are checking in constantly with our people to make sure like everything's going smoothly. What pain points do you have? How can we fix them? Like, it's never truly hands off, even if, you get to a point where you feel like sorry.
I know. Is that a huge truck that just went, like, what's outside?
We're always checking in, and I feel like we'll maybe be a little too hyper about that when we're in Texas. Like, how are things going? What do you need? Do you need us to fly up? Like, I will. I'll be there tomorrow.
It's tough because I'm kind of the opposite, where I'm like, our team, we tell them every day, whatever you need. Yeah. If it's a concern, if it's a question, if it's tools we need to buy, like, they know by now. We've hammered it into them, like, please come to us. So I'm kind of in the opposite, where I'm like, yeah, I'm good to chill and not check in as much now. Yeah. But we definitely have been hyper at times.
Right. Well, and just where things are maybe not working for specific clients, where can we troubleshoot that? Like, we're never ever going to be able to just totally walk away.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Although Jamie is amazing, and she will, like,
the day that we sell the operation is the day we can walk away.
Yeah. Right.
What's up, Glitter Bug? Haven't seen Heidi in a while. How are you? We got Eric in the house. We got Melissa, one of our OG members.
Did I see Melissa's moving to England?
Where the world did you see that? Oh my gosh. That's like, we're talking about a Texas move. I can't imagine moving to that's across the sea. Ours is going to be cake compared to that. Yeah, video series on starting eBay would be awesome. We're not going to start from zero as far as the account goes. Yeah. The account's now at 2,000 feedback. And we ship between 3 and 5 items a day. Seems to be the going rate for the last several months. So we're not starting the account from zero necessarily, but in Texas specifically, physically, we're starting with zero inventory down there. So sales will still happen on that account here out of Oregon. I just thought it would be super helpful for you guys to see videos of us going into thrift stores, Goodwills, etc., garage sales, because they're freaking year round down there. Here in Oregon, we have like 2 good months of garage sales, and then it's done. Yeah. So we're going to document all that stuff on video, because I thought it would be helpful for you guys to see the perspective from like hard goods versus clothing seller, right. And what we pick up, and hopefully give you guys some items that you can pick up too. What part of Texas? Already covered that one. Looking around Converse area, give or take 5 to 10 miles. There's some really good towns down there. My chat got on. Alexander, what's up, man? That is a familiar face. One of our OG February eBay listing challenge members.
That was a fun challenge.
One of the best groups we've ever hosted. That was an awesome month.
That was a fun challenge. We need to do those more. We'll get back on it, people.
Kevin says, good evening from Lakeland, Florida. We know a lot of Florida people.
Alex said, get set up quickly down there so we can rock another eBay challenge.
Yeah, no, groups have been fun. We definitely took a good, February was the last one we really did. I think we did we did a March one. But yeah, we took a year off from doing a lot of group stuff. Anyone who has run a business dealing with staff, you know how that goes. It takes up a lot of time. So that's what we spent 2021 doing. The Goodwill Clearance Center y'all visited when you came down, moved a few miles up the road by Texas Thrift. That is too funny because we went to that Texas Thrift and saw that sign.
They were just building it.
I've yet to go, but I plan to go check it out. Barbecue. Yes, barbecue and tacos. Two other reasons why we're down
That's
there.
Mostly why we're moving to Texas is for the tacos.
Good food, good people. You can't go wrong. But yeah, so we're excited to check out that clearance center. Hey, you got to bring back the haul videos.
I know. If I go to the bins, then I would totally will.
Go.
What are you gonna do in England with no bins, Melissa? I'm sad for you already.
What's up, Paul?
Well, let's answer a couple questions because I gotta go get our kids.
Yeah. Bobby was another OG member.
Oh, Bobby.
I did the February challenge. It was so much fun. I had so much growth. I did in March too. Does anyone remember what I showed the overall percentage of growth that everyone had. I forget what the percentage was, but we had, and we'll do another one of these at some point in the coming months after we're all set up in Texas. And we had one shared Google sheet for everybody. And we did this almost a year ago, almost. Last February. So we had one shared Google sheet. Everyone chose either 3 or 5 or 10 as their number. That's the amount of listings you committed to every single day of the week for 30 days, or I guess 28 days through February. So everyone committed to that, and you got a not checkbox. We input the number, and it would show the total at the end of the week. So it was like public accountability. And if you didn't do listings for 2 days or more, then you got booted from the group. So it was definitely lighting a fire under people's butts, but that was an awesome month. Everyone had crazy growth. Shocking. The more stuff that you list, typically the more stuff you're going to sell through.
We at least grew like 2%.
At least 2. Like 2.8. So sad for no bins for sure.
Way more than that.
But they have charity shops, thrift stores. I'm kicking around the idea of making a BST store that don't have them there. There you go. I'm not sure if I'll do that or not. Yeah, I can imagine there's a lot of opportunity to build something over there. All right, sweet. So it looks like that's all of our Texas questions, except this one just came in. Will your Texas prep center be the same type as Oregon? That we're not 100% sure yet. It's tough because with online arbitrage, here is sales tax free, down there is not. So we're going to offset our pricing a little bit to try to make up for that. But being sales tax, it's going to be geared towards wholesale and private label clients. Fulfillment, that kind of stuff. So probably not as much OA, but we will definitely be open.
We will have some OA people for sure. We've already promised some spots.
Yeah. So we've already got a wait list for that.
They're going to see this video and be like, where's my spot?
I know, right? So yeah, we will be accepting OA people for those that can make it work for their type of margins that they want to hit.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. And of course we'll document via Instagram. Now I'm on TikTok, so I'm documenting daily over there.
Oh, the TikTok.
Oh man, TikTok's been that's a whole different animal. Tell you what. I
must sound like just such a fuddy-duddy. Oh, that TikTok. Oh, those TikTokers.
So yeah, we'll document the whole process and openings for positions and all that kind of stuff when we get Texas all up and running. It's so weird because we have a general idea what we want to start with. We'd love to start with something like 4,000 to 5,000 square feet if we can find the right place at the right price and grow from there. But aside from that, there's no real solid vision quite yet because we're not quite sure how that's going to line up.
We sound like crazy people.
Like if we look, can you imagine?
We don't know what we're going to do when we get down there. We'll figure it out.
How long? Okay, so we got into reselling about six years and some change.
Yeah.
Imagine 7 years ago, someone handed us like a piece of paper that had an outline of what our life would look like in 7 years.
Just no.
Like
I have no idea.
The hoops we've had to jump through, the risks that we've taken, the amount of hours that we've put in. Yeah. No one would sign off on that, but we did.
We have done it. Here we are.
It's crazy.
It's pretty cool to think about it. If anyone's if you're just thinking about, goals for this coming year, also just think about where you started and be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like if you really think about where we started in our garage with my 1-year-old, like trying to steal the puzzles that we were going to sell on FBA. Like, it's pretty crazy.
And if you guys are newer to the channel, this has all been documented on blogs. You can go back to our channel, go to the oldest videos, and you'll see us grinding the whole process
easy
out
to
in our
spot
garage.
Because Charles has like a beard that comes down to like
At
here.
one point I did. I had a good couple inches on here. That was one time only. I grew it out that long. I'm like, nope, not for me.
Don't do that again.
Yeah. So if you want to see like the hustle and the grind that we've been through the last 6 years, it's all on our YouTube channel and documented. Super cool for us to look back at those videos now, which is why I'm happy that we did them. I recommend too, like because I've had people ask this on Instagram a couple times, if they should start a YouTube channel. Obviously, I'm not going to get into it, but you can start for the right reasons. Ultimately, I highly recommend it just for the sake of you being able to look back and see how far that you've come. We as entrepreneurs, not necessarily we, but I'm talking about you guys too, like a collective. We as entrepreneurs tend to fall into this trap of you have some growth and then you feel like you're stuck in this one little phase. And then you think, oh my gosh, I should be doing more. I should be, further along. And we forget to look back at the person who we were a year ago would kill to be in the position we are now.
Right.
Like a year ago for us, we were working 10 to 12 hours a day here at the prep center. No social media. We had no time for social media. Our own Amazon, eBay just took a crap, which is why the February challenge group even started was for our own benefit. And a year ago, we would have killed to be in a position now where we can be hands off at the prep center, like 90% hands off.
Right.
And there were a lot of times that we've taken that for granted. So having videos and social media to be able to look back on is probably the biggest benefit, right? Yeah, you'll gain subscribers and like your own community and all the cool stuff that comes with it. But ultimately, it's the best benefit of social media and documenting stuff on video is the fact you can look back. And if you have kids, like we get to look back at when Ty was a year old, in the garage with us, and even here at the warehouse when he got older.
Yeah.
So we have videos to show like, and then Isla was born, our daughter. She's now 2.5. Freaking A, she's going to be 3 in May.
Gonna be 3.
So she's going to be 3 in May, but we have videos of her literally like 3 weeks old here at the warehouse, sitting in her basket or strapped to our back inside the, what's it called? The back strap thing. Pack.
Just like a baby carrier.
What's the brand? I literally have sold these. Like, what's the brand of the
Ergo?
There we go.
I forgot about it too.
Sold several of them. Forgot what the name was. So like we can look back and see those videos and show them one day. Like, yeah, your parents were kind of hustlers back in the day.
I have this like great picture of Isla like on my chest, and I've got like on my backpack chest thing, and then I'm like doing eBay photos, and
so cool.
It's pretty fun.
So yeah,
fun to look back.
If you're thinking about starting social media,
just do it for yourself.
I would highly recommend doing it. It also helps bring accountability to you. Like when I know that we've got 100,000 people on a YouTube channel looking at us, I kind of want to show up and be able to keep my credit. So it does help with accountability as well. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. You were one of my first reseller influencers I followed. Happy for you. That is amazing. Thank you. That is an OG subscriber right there.
It was back in the day.
Not a reselling question, but are you using one camera to stream to both Facebook and YouTube? Yes. So I'm using StreamYard, which gives you the ability to push this feed out to multiple locations. So we're pushed out to eBay and Amazon eBay and Amazon sellers network groups, and then also on YouTube here. The other popular one is Restream. There's another one you can. I actually got Restream. I want to test that out to see what the difference is.
Hi. Okay.
Have a good night.
Bye.
So that's where we're at. Texas is coming up quick. It's been something we've been wanting to do for 2 years, and we finally are just. Ultimately, we just had to put a date on it.
Yeah.
It's like anything.
I was just gonna say
literally.
That. I feel like it's just at some point we have to stop talking about it and put a date on it. And I always told Charles I will not move during Q4. I will not do it.
I think
so. Here we are.
Was it January last year? I think we talked at some point trying to leave by October. Remember that? And then
we had tried to we were thinking about going in the fall, but June, July turned out to be a really tough couple of months here with staff and COVID and just all the things that were just not going right. And it was not the right time. So, we just, organically kind of go like, we're not doing this right now. So, and we've always known like we cannot leave this center, propped up on stilts. Like it has to be totally solid before we can move. And we totally feel that now. Like it's solid. We don't need to be here. So, I mean, Charles and I have spent the last 2 weeks. We've got 2 warehouses and we're downsizing to 1 warehouse, which is super fun. You should all do it. It's awful.
We've got so much stuff to clear out.
It's the actual worst downsizing. So, we're downsizing, but we're here a lot, but we're kind of just cleaning things out. And like Charles said, like purging the eBay stuff that has been listed too long or it's not selling or, whatever. Getting this warehouse cleaned out so that we just have the one and they can thrive over there and have what they need. And I don't remember where I was going with that.
That's the way the cookie
crumbles.
The way the cookie
crumbles. Did you say we have questions? I gotta go.
We do have I know you said you had to go. I thought you were just hanging for the Texas talk.
A couple questions.
All right. So I posted on Instagram earlier today and I've got a bunch of like older questions posted I did where people can ask questions and we will answer them on video. Oh, there's actually more than I thought that would come in. First question. And if you guys are here live, feel free to drop any questions that you want inside the chat. Which one are you reading?
Who is that?
Oh my God, that's Kim. Who's your favorite client?
Obviously, it's Kim.
All of them. It's like choosing a favorite child. Like you technically have a favorite child, but you don't tell them necessarily that they're the favorite. I'm going to say all of them is the politically correct answer. Do we have any current clients that are watching this, by the way? It's funny because like we know clients by their first and last real names, and then when they're on social media, none of them use their real name, so I don't even know who's actively commenting stuff. Am I buying any NFTs? I own 5 NFTs. Nothing groundbreaking by any means. They're just ones I thought looked cool and they're super cheap. I have not. I started to get into the NFT game, and I've got Ethereum like ready to buy. I just have not spent any time researching which ones to go into. If anyone has any tips and suggestions, please let me know. Prep centers. Why do some use IL, which is Inventory Lab, and some don't? Ultimately, it comes down to the personal preference of who's running the prep center. And I would say too, it depends on the type of products and shipping. Right. So I just did one of my own shipments right before this stream where it was almost 70 units of the exact same item. I don't need to use Inventory Lab for that. It's a very quick check-in process and boxing process if I just use Seller Central for that, because there was no prep involved, no expiration dates. I literally just label the 70 units, throw them in boxes, then I'm good. That was really quick to do just in Seller Central. So if the prep center is receiving products that are in quantity like that, or if you're doing LTL, sometimes it's going to be a little bit quicker to do through Seller Central. If it's going to be small quantities like 3, 5, 10 units across many different ones,
or if they require expiration dates,
or if they need expiration dates, then obviously Inventory Lab is going to, most of the time Inventory Lab will be faster for a lot of stuff. Ultimately, it's just personal preference of the prep center. We use Inventory Lab for 100% of our shipping over there. Very rarely, like if we get case packs of stuff, some people do buy some wholesale that they ship here. Ultimately that will be migrated down to Texas, but yeah, we do have case packs of stuff that we do ship out through Seller Central.
Yeah. So IL will print the expiration right on the label, so you're not stickering twice. And then the other thing is it's just way more intuitive and more friendly, like user friendly than Seller Central. So when we're training our employees, it just like the system makes more sense than training them on Seller Central. So most of them don't know how to use Seller Central for a shipment from start to finish. They probably never will because we require aisle to be a client, but just us.
I will say since the shipping system got a little bit more improved in Seller Central, it was a lot smoother than it used to be.
Yeah.
What do you expect of 2022? It's a general question, but you can answer however you'd like.
I have no idea.
I expect to be moved down to Texas.
Right.
I expect.
Who's asking? Is this your mom?
No.
Okay.
What's your expectation? Hi, Mom. I know she watches these. I would say definitely move down to Texas. Mm-hmm. As far as operations go, we've both agreed. The bigger vision would be 10,000 square feet at the end of the year if everything is cruising smooth. I will bump that up to 20,000 square feet and more staff if and only if we have a manager in charge of all the staff. And I agreed. We both ran a staff of 10 to 12 people at one point, and we both agreed we are not. I zero desire to do the HR side and the managing of staff. So if we have an official manager, I'm good to scale this thing out to 20, 30,000 square feet, all the clients we can handle, et cetera. But to start with, 5,000 square feet is, I feel like that's going to be a really sweet spot for us for a while. And then ultimately migrating up to 10,000 square feet from there. But that's kind of my only expectation as of now.
I like how your expectation goes straight to like business. I'm like, I want to travel more.
Want to go to Disneyland?
No, but really, like, one of the things, like, we grew up in Oregon, so we've been all the places in Oregon, taken all our kids to the places, and I'm just excited to be more central in the country and be able to travel easier. And like, if we want to go to the East Coast, it's a full day of traveling. Yeah, it's like 9 hours to get a flight time. So
between connections and all that, usually it's going to be.
Are you out? No, are you leaving?
Yeah. Travis, you want to say hi?
Yeah. Hi.
We're doing a meet the team edition of the vlog.
Oh no.
I'm going to see if I flip this over. My camera is like,
I don't want to.
My camera's propped up by my computer. I'm not going to move it, but this is Travis, everybody.
Okay, I'll be right back. Could you help me?
Travis is our official receiving extraordinaire, so he took a lot of hours off my plate that I was doing. So that's kind of where we're at with expectations through the year is just get established. It's hard for me to wrap my head around the second half of 2022 when I'm so focused on these first 6 months. We need to get down to Texas, get well established, have a solid foundation, and then just start creating the vision of what we want it to be after that. It's kind of what we're looking at. How did you start an FBA prep center? Couple different reasons. I mean, it was a lot of things happening at once that kind of led into this whole thing. But ultimately, it started as we had a smaller warehouse space. I think we had 1,500 square feet. It was about 1,500 square feet in our old one. If you guys watch our vlogs, it was that older building that we had before. So we had the warehouse. We had one part-time employee, Ryan, and Jamie was still working on eBay stuff for us. And we got to the point where COVID hit, and we saw a lot of toys and electronics on Amazon at the time. And we got to the point where COVID hit. And if anyone remembers, FBA got hit with restrictions. You couldn't sell or ship in. You can still do some FBM, but you couldn't ship in anything that was considered non-essential. So you can ship in health, beauty, all the things I didn't sell much of. So we kind of got reamed on our ability to send in our own FBA shipments. So then we had a couple private groups that we were running, and somebody reached out and was like, hey, I really want to be able to ship my product to a tax-free state. And I thought I would reach out to you guys before a prep center. Would you be willing to ship in our stuff for us for a fee? And that's where the first idea of, all right, now we have a little bit more free time. We have the space. I've got plenty of free time myself, so I can just go and do the shipping myself. So it started with one person welcome back.
Welcome back. Whoa.
I bet our team loves when we put him on the spot on YouTube. Like, hey, say hi.
Jamie hates it.
She hates it. We'll get her on video one of these days. It should be like a meet the manager edition. That'd be fun.
I know.
So that's how the whole process of even being a prep center started, was just one or two people that needed help. And we're like, well, we got free time. COVID screwed up the ability for us to ship in our own toys. And then it just naturally grew from there. One client after another wanted in, and the demand grew. We ended up partnering with Chris Grant in the OA Challenge and did a few videos over there. And we got a bunch of clients that flooded in after that. And eventually we had to make a decision of, the blueprint and demand is here. Right. We can lean into this and scale that out, or we can keep just focusing on Amazon, eBay. So I just looked at the supply and demand opportunity. And at the time I got so sick and tired of everyone asking, what prep center do you recommend? And I had no answer, because I heard way too many horror stories every single time I talked to somebody about prep centers. They were taking weeks to reply back. They were sending items in under the wrong ASIN. They weren't bubble wrapping things that should be bubble wrapped. All these things that kept popping up, and we got tired of hearing about it. So we figured, you know what, if no one's going to do this right, let's just step up and do it ourselves.
Well, and it was kind of a good, I don't know, like sidestep for us. Like we have had Facebook groups for as long as we've been doing this, literally, like 6 years.
Yeah, literally.
And so it was like, this is going to sound wrong, but those Facebook groups are great. They are awesome at connections, and we have like lifelong relationships that were birthed out of those groups. We love them dearly, and we put a lot into those groups. And at some point it was just like, we had nothing left to give of ourselves into those groups. But Charles and I are still like service focused, I guess. Right? Like, we like to provide for people some kind of service, or
we're helpers.
We're helpers. We like to fix things. We're control freaks that like to fix everything.
Our former careers were medical field and massage therapists. Like, we're just service oriented.
Yeah. So it's not that we stepped out of those groups so that we could have all this time and just kind of be hermits. We're helping people. It's just not in the same way that we were before. And it feels really good to build these relationships with our clients, and they trust us. And we're able to help them kind of regain or reclaim some of their time and their life by taking their prep out of their dining room table and taking that over for them. So
and those are
it's been really, it's been when you say like, oh, I own a prep center, or we run a prep center, it sounds very like, the day-to-day is we put things in bags, and then we put those bags in boxes, and then we put those boxes in a truck, and
bags,
that's all we do,
stickers,
day
boxes,
after day after day.
Yeah.
But it's so much more than that when you get to build relationships with the clients who are appreciative of what we do, and we're all obviously appreciative that they're even here and that we can work with them. So
we just talked to our team today about this. It's, how do I explain that to them? I said, to you guys as the staff doing the day-to-day, it feels like and yes, the tangible part of the business is you're prepping products, but the bigger picture is what's taking effect, and the impact that they're having is we get to help you guys as sellers reclaim your sanity, is what it comes down to. Reclaim your space in your home, like Trista was saying. And those conversations that we get to have with our clients, where they're like, oh my gosh, I actually get to have more free time to spend with my kids. I actually get to enjoy my home again, instead of having product overflowing in the living room and doing that. I've had husbands that are like, yeah, I'm not shipping at midnight anymore. My wife thanks you. Those are the conversations we have that put this whole thing into perspective for us, and why we even keep doing it. It's been single-handedly the toughest 2 years we have ever had in our lives, for a lot of different reasons, but the building a prep center specifically has been the hardest thing we've ever taken on as far as building something. And it's been so rewarding when we get to talk to these sellers who have, especially those, our ideal client are those who have kids, because we feel like they appreciate when they actually have their space and their free time back. So it's just been awesome to be able to hear those stories. Ultimately, that's kind of the growth that happened of why we started a prep center and the natural progression that it took. We just saw an opportunity for supply and demand. I'm not saying there's not good prep centers out there. I'm sure there are.
Oh, there's tons, I'm sure. Yeah.
But we just were in a position where we knew there was a high demand for excellent communication, fast turnaround time, and doing things right. And that's ultimately what we decided to do. You want to tackle a few more?
I have like 3 minutes. Go. Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. What do you do in your free time?
Is that an actual question?
Now, this can be, it depends on.
That's hysterical. Is this a real question?
It is a real question.
What free time?
It depends on the phase we're in. So if
I laughed really loud.
I know.
Sorry.
If we weren't in the middle of cleaning out our second warehouse, because that is what we do in our free time right now, then you would be playing guitar.
That's true.
Doing all your hobbies that you have.
Yeah.
I would be playing Xbox. I don't get to play as much as I want to.
We have actually traveled a lot this year.
We've done a lot of traveling. That is
that's my favorite thing in the world to do. So
I mean, we did back to back. We were in San Antonio for 2 weeks. We were here for a week and a half, went to Disney. We took the kids to Disney.
We went to Phoenix earlier this year, which was my son's most favorite trip. If you ask him if he wants to go to Phoenix or Disneyland, he will tell you Phoenix every time.
We stayed at this.
It's so funny.
It wasn't even an insanely nice place. It just had a huge.
It was nice.
It was nice.
Yeah.
It had a huge splash pad, and he loved that.
It was the best.
So yeah,
and it was a lot of chill time with the kids, just really focused on them. And
during that time, I remember too, that was like the 10 to 12 hour days. So by the time that trip came, we needed that time with the kids.
Yep.
So our free time, if it boils down to it's kids, because we do spend 6 to 8 hours a day here at the warehouse doing our own thing. And then we get to spend time with kids. So that's a personal hobby. Mine would be Xbox, video gamer at heart. So, or anything outdoors, if it's hiking, kayaking, all that stuff.
Yeah. That would be one of the things I'm just so excited about is traveling in Texas and going to the beach, driving, checking out all kinds of things. So we have family kind of all over Texas, so it'll be fun. And I'm ready to get outside. We also spend a lot of time indoors because it rains so much here. So we're ready to get outside.
We're a little stir crazy right now.
Yeah.
I love the free time question too, because I can always answer with, if you asked me back when I was a massage therapist, what do you do in your free time? I would say I loved going to garage sales, listing stuff on eBay, sourcing, and we eventually just turned that into our careers now. So I know it's cliche, but I do get to say we turned what were our hobbies into an income stream.
And I still like to go to do all of those things.
On our date nights, we'll literally go to thrift stores first before going out to dinner. We still genuinely enjoy the thrill of the hunt.
Yeah.
So that's the free time question. Books and games. Do you just go to Goodwills and some other places? I haven't done books. I don't know if that's video games or board games. I haven't done books or board games in a long time, but in the past, yes, it was Goodwill. I haven't been to any, but library sales are another really popular way people source. As far as video games, everywhere. You can buy lots off eBay. You can buy them off Mercari, Facebook Marketplace, thrift stores, Goodwills, etc. You can buy those everywhere. What percentage of your personal Amazon business would you estimate as replens? Currently 0. We don't have anything right now. I've had plenty of replens over the years. I just never stayed active with them. The second that we had to dump all of our time into the prep center, I kind of had to, I had just had 0 time or energy left over for sourcing. So I've been very blessed and fortunate to have some awesome suppliers that hit us up when they have extra stuff as far as deals go. So usually I buy 200, 300, 400 units of single SKUs. And that's how my Amazon account has basically stayed alive over the last year. So I'm super fortunate to be able to have some of those connections. But as far as replens, currently 0. As we get down into Texas and we can start getting back in a rhythm, I would definitely love to be able to get some of those replens in. All right. That was today's questions.
The item labels that we use for our Oh, wait, was it for the Rolo? Did it say?
FNSQ.
Oh, FNSQ. We just get those on Amazon. What is the size?
So it's going to be a Dymo 30334, and that's going to be a 2 1/4 by 1 1/4 label size.
There you go.
Or a medium multi-purpose. Ozzy, I'm not going to highlight your comment, but I 1000% agree. That's hilarious. That's awesome. I actually asked for gift cards from my husband for Christmas to source. That is when you know you are in the right business. That's awesome. Hey, Prep Center Network or Network Prep Center NFT for the win. I don't know if anyone would buy those if we made NFTs.
I don't understand why anyone buys the NFTs anyway, but
I have yet to get her on board.
I get it. I understand it. I just don't understand it. But I don't think you're supposed to understand it. I think it's
the future. It's the future.
Bananas is what it is. It's bananas. Okay. I actually do have to go now.
All right. Are you out?
My people
Pick
are
up the
waiting
little
for
ones.
me. Yep.
All right, crew.
This was fun.
Yeah, it's first time.
Thanks for having me on your show.
You've been my show. First time you've been on a live since last February, I think it was the last time we did one together.
I'm a busy person.
You are a busy person.
I don't look this
Thanks
tired
for
no reason, people.
You want your commission check for making a guest appearance?
If you could make me dinner later, that would be great.
All right, that's a deal. Tacos? We still got tacos left.
Tacos.
Yo, we got this taco truck in town. None of us have ever been to, and we got them today.
We don't understand it, but
they're so good. Like, Texas tacos were bomb. These were on par with the Texas tacos.
Yep, I will lock next door.
Okay, you got it?
Goodbye.
Gracias. All right. I got a couple pages worth of questions here. I'll hammer through these real quick. Thank you guys for taking time out of your day or your evening to watch this. All right. What is your first memory of playing video games? I know that I played games before this, but the very first memory that I just retained and I can replay in my head was at my grandpa's house playing the very first Mario on NES. And I've got somewhat of a photographic memory, so I get weird flashbacks from. I was actually born in Alaska, if anyone didn't know that. Super random fact of the day. So I was born in Alaska, and my family moved down to Oregon when I was barely 3. I remember parts of Alaska. Like, I just got a weird memory like that. And so I can play in my head the exact portion of Mario on NES. And of course, I think that's most people's first memory. What's the approximate timeline for Texas Prep Center to be running? We're looking at getting a warehouse space, hopefully in the first 2 weeks. I don't know if I can physically sit around for more than 2 weeks without being productive in some sense. So let's say in the first 2 weeks, we have access to the warehouse. We've got to do all the pallet racking and get the stuff set up. Probably looking at towards mid to end of March is what I'm going to say for Prep Center. And if anyone wants info, we haven't come up with our official Texas pricing. We have our Oregon, of course, but we haven't come up with our Texas pricing yet. But if anyone is wanting info, or if you want to get on our wait list for the Texas Prep Center, we do have a wait list already. So if you want to hop on that and kind of be first come, first serve, you can always message me, either chaz@sidehustlenetwork.com, or you can message me on Instagram at the Side Hustle Network on there, and I can get you plugged in on that wait list. But tentatively about mid-March to end of March is what we're looking at. As far as my collecting of video games and retro goods, what factors will dictate which ones get sold and which ones go into my vault, which is my own personal lifelong collection, or at least long-term holds. typically when it comes to graded games, so you guys can see some of the games back here. When it comes to graded games, I personally, if we're talking about WATA, which goes by a slightly different grading system, if it's a WATA 8.5 or greater, and it's one of my childhood favorites, I'm keeping that one for a long time. So I've got most of those games actually up on that shelf for my personal collection. Those ones won't be for sale, at least for a long time. And then if it's VGA, I like to collect an 85 plus or better. So that's typically what is going to be in my vault, my long-term holds. If it's stuff that I either think is going to go up in value tremendously, I'll do a long-term hold on. But most of all, if it's something that is just a childhood memory of mine, I want to keep a hold of that for a while. Did I sell any tequila Tesla bottles? I did not. I would have loved to get a hold of one of those, but I did not put in the effort to get that. Let's see. Let me scroll through. If you guys have any questions down in the chat here as well, just drop those down. Do we have any current positions open for the Oregon Prep Center? We do not. We have fairly large wait list for the Oregon Prep Center. It's just high demand. Number one, it's a sales tax free state. Number two, our team does a damn good job. Super, super proud of the system that we built, the team that runs that system. Incredibly confident in them and super proud. But we do have a wait list. Again, you can message me if you want to hop on that wait list. And go from there. But we will be fully booked for quite a while. World ends in 24 hours. What do you do until then in the last meal? Anything you want? Dude, it's tacos. Like, it's tacos or pizza for me. All-time favorite foods. I can never get tired of those. And it just depends on the mood. Like right now, we had tacos for lunch and I'm game to have tacos for dinner. So that's my last meal. As far as what I'm doing, it's hanging with my fam. If we can go out for a hike, go outside, do something together. I think any parent would. That if I know it's my last day, I'm spending it with my kids and my loved ones, of course. It's a dark question when you think about it. How much have you spent on sealed video games since you started collecting? I have no idea. I have a spreadsheet and it doesn't even have all of it. Keep in mind, I have sold quite a bit of games, so it's not like I spent this money and then it's just all tied up. But I've spent at least 30K, probably closer to 40K if I'm to estimate roughly, on sealed games. But keep in mind, that's not like I put up 30K at one time and it's all sitting on my shelf. That's, buying and selling over time. Some of it I have sold, some of it I'm keeping, etc. One of them just says, "What's up?" Not much. What's up with you? That's too funny. Will you keep your current warehouse in Oregon when you relocate? Yes. Are you using Inventory Lab for your prep service? Yes. How long have you been hustling? Just over, this will be November 15th, 2015. So 6 years and 3 months about is how long we've been in the resale game. Before reselling, I was still self-employed for about a year and a half as a massage therapist. So I kind of gained my entrepreneurial spirit with massage therapy. So a lot of people may not know this. We didn't get into reselling and then quit our jobs. That was Trista. So Trista was still in the medical field, and probably a good 6 months, like 4 to 6 months into reselling is when she quit her job. I had quit my job at least a year and a half before that as a massage therapist because I got sick and tired of only making a percentage of what I knew I should be making. So if a company I worked for charged the client like $100 to $120 for a 60-minute massage, and I got paid $40, that was not like, I knew that I could be making a lot more money. So I decided, okay, I'm going to go self-employed. Went and rented space downtown here in McMinnville for probably a year and a half, 2 years. And from there, I did the typical thing. Like, I had to pay rent and to do my own marketing, get my own clients. A lot of times with foot traffic being out front of the building, being downtown, I would take my massage chair and put it out front and give away free 10-minute chair massages to bring people in to pay for the full hour to 90 minutes as far as that goes. So I was kind of like hustling and being an entrepreneur before reselling. Man, that was tough. That was a tough thing to do. How long is the wait list? It depends. Like if one of our clients comes to us tomorrow and is like, hey, I found another opportunity, or for whatever reason, they can't be a client anymore, then I can go to the next person on our wait list and bump them up. So there could be an opening tomorrow if a client decided to leave us. Fortunately, we do not have turnaround hardly at all. So I usually tell clients, realistically, it's probably a 3 to 4 month wait before we can pick names off of our wait list and go from there. I would love to take everyone and all of you on and take care of your businesses, but we found out the hard way, more is not going to be better. We went down the rabbit trail, like Trista mentioned. June, July was the toughest 2 months we've ever had, especially here in the prep center world. We were in the middle of dealing with a lot of the staffing issues that most companies were dealing with. Very difficult to hire people. We were working at least 10 hours a day each. Sometimes I get here at 7 a.m. and I wouldn't leave until midnight. And take one lunch break for the whole day. It was very exhausting because we were just chasing numbers. We thought, okay, we hit 30,000, we hit 40,000 units per month prepped. What happens if we hit 50 while being short staffed? So we just got ourselves burnt out tremendously. So we scaled our entire business back by about 40%. Between doing a price increase, between letting clients go, we've been filtering and fine tuning our business, but we cut our business down about 40% just to make sure it's manageable without us being here. Not an easy transition to do, but I'm very, very happy that we did it. All right, let me pick off a few more questions off the Instagram world. And if you guys have any questions here on YouTube, I'll be sure to answer those. Honest question. Do you miss going to a 9 to 5, 40 hours and not having business owner headache? That is such a good question, because the immediate answer that you would think most people would say is like, no, I don't miss that, but I do. And I would argue that this flows through most entrepreneurs' heads, especially if you run a business with staff. It's one thing when you are your own solopreneur, right? Your own business owner. It's just you and nobody else, or maybe a spouse or business partner. It's one thing to do that. It's a whole nother level and degree when you have physical staff as well. I think about it often, like the days where you just clock in at 9, clock out at 5, and that's it. Like you go home and literally just put your feet up and watch Netflix. Those were easy days, I would argue. So I do miss it, but the payoff was not worth that lifestyle, right? That's the typical, like, going to be broke, paycheck to paycheck. Always that. The thing I don't miss when I look back at the 9 to 5 days was the feeling of I am created and meant for so much more in this life, and I'm not going to achieve that if I just stick with this 9 to 5. I'm not going to become my optimal best self and serve other people to my true potential. And that's ultimately why I wanted to be self-employed, was I knew that with being self-employed, there is no cap. The only ceiling I have is the one I put on myself. And I know that with my skill sets, if I keep developing those over time and build my confidence around those skill sets, the more of an impact that I can have. And that's ultimately what made everything worth it, was I can now sit here and say we're doing that on a much bigger degree than I ever could if I was working a 9 to 5. And that may or may not be something that some people agree with, and that's okay. That's just my experience. So do I miss the ease of it? Of course. Was it worth it? No. That was not worth going to a 9 to 5 and just feeling like I wasn't making much of an impact. Is even though like 2021, man, even though it was such a difficult year, we had to figure out growth and figure out how to maneuver staff and all that. Even though it was a very difficult year, it was worth all of it. To be able to sit here where we are today with a system that is running 90% without us, and we're making an impact. So that's my thought on that. Private or live workflow for Inventory Lab. For the most part, most shipments are done via private, and live mode will use, especially when you have quantities of upwards of 7, or if you have 12 and above, there's certain ways you can maneuver numbers to get things to go to the same location. So that's where we'll use live mode a little bit more. All right, take a couple questions off here on YouTube, and then I am going to hit the road for the night. Want to buy a sealed Game Gear console for $1,800. I will probably pass, only because I never got into Game Gear. I don't know why. I just I got into, of course, all the Nintendo stuff was always my top. But Sega Genesis was the other one that I got super into. I never got into Game Gear. I just don't know why. I have 6. They're stacked up right. This is reversed. There we go. That little stack of purple boxes are all Game Gear. There's some, I've got Dragon in there, so there's some good stuff in there. I never got into playing Game Gear, so I have no emotional attachment to that one. Are you selling on Amazon FBA? Yes. Yeah, we never stopped. Oh, okay. How do I phrase this? We slowed down tremendously, but never came to a complete stop with Amazon. And or have you seen a drop in numbers? Yes, of course we saw a drop in numbers. Like, the hardest part about being an entrepreneur that's dabbling in multiple different journeys or businesses is you only have 100% focus and time and energy to utilize. You can't put 100% into all the different things at one time, right? So in a perfect world, our eBay, our Amazon, our prep center, our YouTube and affiliates, our social media, everything would be growing every single year, year over year. But that's just not the case, because I haven't created systems around each of them and hired the appropriate positions to grow all of them at once. So because I have put my energy into one thing at a time and just really kind of steered whichever business needs attention, it's, that's not the best way to grow stuff. I now can look back at the last 6 years and see easily where we messed up. But that's part of being an entrepreneur, is just learning to adjust your sale and get smarter over time with it all. So now I know, last year, 2021, for example, and these are rough numbers. I'm going to do a full breakdown video of our 2021 revenue streams and just be transparent with everyone. So roughly 2020, we hit, it was like 208,000 in revenue on Amazon FBA. That was with very little retail arbitrage. That was with a little bit of OA, and it was a lot more wholesale with some of our suppliers that we use. So that was kind of like, a cruise control year. I put in some effort with the retail and online arbitrage, and then wholesale is pretty simple model to follow. 2020 or 2021, the next year, this last year, 100% of our energy went into establishing the prep center. And you guys see me point this way because I'm in building 2. Building 1 is just right next door. Just natural hand gesture I'm going to be doing there. So 2021, it was that decision making of, do I focus on Amazon, eBay, but then the prep center may not grow as much as we need it to, or not get established the way it needs it to. So we made a decision. Let's just hit cruise control on Amazon and eBay if we can. And let's just focus on making the prep center the best possible blueprint it can be, so that when we move, it's going to run smooth. And we did just that. In 2021, Amazon, it was, I guess I can just look at my sellers app. So 2020 was roughly going to be, let me see. 2020 was roughly about 208,000. Last year, 2021, it dropped because I didn't give it hardly any attention. It dropped by about 30%. So we're looking at about 150K. Now, I am more proud of that 150K than I was of the 208. Why? In total, on our Amazon account to make the 150K revenue, that's not profit by any means. I haven't run my exact accounting for the year yet. Not good to do, but I got to follow up with that. So I'm more proud of that 150K revenue because, and it will be far less profit, I can tell you that. But I'm more proud of that because I spent maybe 3 to 4 hours a month on our Amazon account because I have access to some of these wholesale suppliers that we have great relationships with. So I don't think I did any retail arbitrage. I did Black Friday. I will say I did Black Friday at Under Armour and Walmart. Walmart had awesome video game deals. So I picked up some of those and sold those. But aside from that, I spent like on the high end, 5 hours per month on Amazon. So that's why I'm making 150K revenue with 4 to 5 hours a month. Pretty happy about that. So yes, naturally the numbers on the selling aspect would go down. eBay on the flip side went up because we put more time into it. So I was able to put less time into Amazon because we had more consistent suppliers being able to ship us products. With eBay, I want to say, and again, I'm going to do a revenue breakdown video, so I'm probably a little off on this. I want to say we did between like $25,000 and $35,000 in revenue on eBay in 2020. 2021, we did over 50 because we just put more time into it. We had a lot of products just sitting around that we ended up doing heavy listing on. I was listing 20 items a day on eBay throughout Q4. Not every single day, but I was very consistent with listing 15, 20 items a day. And it shows in the numbers. We sold a lot more product this year on eBay, this last year on eBay, because we just put more time into it. So as you start to add more businesses or revenue streams under your belt, you'll learn very quickly, as much as you want them all to grow year over year, sometimes they won't because you're putting more focus on certain aspects. So that's why I'm a big fan of, I'm writing down a checklist for everything I touch on all of our revenue streams so that I can systemize that and then outsource it, whether it's physical staff or virtual assistant, outsource it so that system can keep working while I can then go work on the next system. Texas is quite the commute. Then you can collab with Bonafide Hustler. Absolutely. Yeah. When we were down there, we took a trip up to Austin to a concert and we literally went into Goodwill. And sure enough, Chris was in there. So I was fortunate to be able to bump into him. Super awesome guy. Yeah, we'll definitely do some collabs. Oh, man. What is your best tip for being ready in moving to a new state? I have no idea because this is the first time we've ever moved into a new state. We haven't moved a whole lot in general. We got married, moved into a little crappy $600 a month apartment. We were in there for maybe a year, moved into a slightly better crappy apartment. We were in there for 9 months. And then we moved into our current one where we've been for the last 8 years almost. So we haven't moved a whole lot in general, let alone to a different state. So I don't have a best tip. I would say if you're keeping some sort of business like we are, of course, have that running smoothly without you for at least a couple months before you move. So we've been doing a test with our staff where we aren't really helping them prep unless they're behind and they need the help. Of course, we'll help. But we kind of put some pressure on them to see how much they can handle. And that's when we had to tailor back our clientele on how many products were being shipped so that they can handle it smoothly. So that was something I would highly recommend. If anyone is ever going to leave staff running something, have them run it themselves for at least a month or two before you physically move. That way you can handle any fires that come up. You know, if you need to create new systems, we thought we had rock solid systems before. Now they're even better because when the staff took over certain aspects of the business and ran it themselves, we're able to see what needs to be improved and go from there. As far as like how we're being ready, we're trying to start clean. Like our personal house, we're not bringing anything. Like we're going to bring, Trista has a family piano that's been passed down, a hope chest, my Peloton. that's kind of it. Like the pictures and sentimental stuff, of course, but those are the 3 big items. And then we're going to liquidate most of our clothing. Like, it's Texas. Like, I can get rid of all my long sleeve shirts. We're just trying to minimize as much as possible. So I would say if I'm giving any tip that we have been doing, it's minimize as much as possible so that it's an easy move and we can just pretty much start clean down there. Some resellers are saying to just work on eBay or just Amazon. What are your thoughts? Yes. If you are new, so learning to juggle multiple things at one time in multitasking tasks is a very difficult skill to learn. I think it is a skill that you can learn. Some people will have natural talent to be able to do it. Some won't, but I do believe it is a skill you can strengthen over time. But I do agree. If you are going to start like brand new seller, pick a platform and start building that. Once you have a foundation built and you have, you have a system to your sourcing, you have a system to your listing, to your shipping, all of that. And you can then hire on hopefully some help. Then you can bring in the next thing that you can learn. Because I can tell you this, if you start with eBay, you do it for a few months, and then you're like, wow, I'm doing good on eBay. Let me start Amazon. And then you hop over and start doing Amazon, and you start doing Amazon more than you're doing eBay. eBay is going to fall. And then you're going to have to go back over because you feel bad it's falling, and then you catch it, build it back up, and then Amazon. Like, it's this constant back and forth. And that's just eBay and Amazon. It could be Mercari, Facebook Marketplace. There's tons of platforms, right? The hard part with being a reseller is just dealing with fear of missing out. Typical FOMO, like you see one person that's like, I just did $50,000 this last year on Mercari, right? And then you're like, well, crap, I have to do Mercari too. And then you hop over here and start doing that. Things fall down. You have to go catch those, build them back up. It's just the constant fear of missing out, I think, is what gets most people. I've been down that rabbit trail. Fortunately, I have now learned what my strengths are, what my weaknesses are. I know which path I need to stay in. I know my amount of focus and energy I'm able to give certain things. And I've learned to say no to a lot more people and a lot more projects over the last 6 months. I say no to like 90% of things that pass through my inbox, right? Hey, we want to partner up and do this. Hey, we want to do, like, I just say no, not because I don't want to, but because I know that if I take that on, other things are going to struggle because they're not quite where I need them to be. So I do agree with that. If you are a new seller, choose a platform, get really good at it, build a rock solid foundation and a system around it so that that system can keep operating while you go build the next one. Now, some people are incredibly talented and they can start with both and they just have the mental capacity to do both, right? There's always going to be people that can handle it. But in general, I would recommend start with one, get good at that, learn the system, build a foundation, etc. Are you going, what's up, Dan? Are you going to be doing a brick seek segment on the OWAY challenge this time around? I actually was just talking with Chris Grant, who runs the OWAY challenge. I was talking with him yesterday. So I will be coming back on and doing a brick seek segment. Even if it's not live, we do have a recorded video that we've done, so that will be in there. And we're going to try to get on and do a live session together to update the prep center, working with the prep center video. We're going to hopefully update that because the one we did last time was, I think, almost a year ago. So obviously I've got a year more of experience now that I can bring to the table. So yeah, we will be doing some collabs in there. All right, guys, we are well over our hour. Thank you. Much appreciated for all of you that stuck around for the full hour, hour 20 almost, or if you hopped on and watched the recording. Thank you guys so much. I will be starting back on a weekly show. It's probably not going to be Thursdays, but I will, starting this coming week, I'll figure out which day and time that we'll be consistent with moving forward. I'm very, very sad because this is the second building we're clearing out and it has to be cleared out in the next 10 days. So my desk, because I have to pack up all this, my personal collection is going down to Texas. So once that gets boxed up in the next 10 days, it stays in a box until we get down to Texas. So that means I'm not going to have necessarily an office. So when I do live streams, I'm going to be in the supplies room next door. So you're going to have a background of boxes and all that fun stuff. So it might be time that I get a green screen. But hopefully you guys don't mind. Maybe I'll just put up like, the Sonic shirt. I'll put a few things up to add some character to it. But we will be starting back on a weekly live show. And I'm going to schedule different topics that we can go over as well. So that should be starting next week. Keep an eye out on Instagram. I'll be posting over there, as well as TikTok. I'm enjoying TikTok, but man, it's a whole new beast of a platform to learn. So you guys can follow us over there, Side Hustle Network, and hit me up in the inbox. I am very active back in my one-on-one inbox on Instagram. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out, and I'll get back to you. But aside from that, you guys, peace out. Have an awesome night. We'll see you guys next time.